Hi there. Here we are. Lunch for the Soul. Welcome, everybody. I'm Melissa Wilson from Fox 26 Morning News. But right now, it is Lunch for the Soul time. Time to meet an interesting, lovely young lady with a beautiful, sweet baby with quite a story to share. So I'm going to bring in right now Angelina Quintanilla. Good morning or good afternoon now. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul. How are you?
Good.
And you have precious Emery next to you. Ah, there we go. Hi. Oh, she has an incredible story to share. So let's start from the very beginning of what was going on. You're 22 weeks pregnant, and then you found out something pretty shocking because you'd had an easy pregnancy. You thought everything was going great. What happened at that point?
Um, that point it was kind of like nervous wracking. So when I found out that I was having, a cliff baby and everything, it kind of I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, it was just a
It was
surprise.
kind of hard. It was hard for me,
Mhm.
because I didn't know what to think. I didn't know whether to be like, if it was my fault or if something went wrong or
Mhm.
anything. And I kind of like got over it because I was just
Yeah.
like, well, she's my daughter at the end of the day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And so what we're talking about is at 22 weeks, doctors could see on an ultrasound that your little girl had a cleft palate and a cleft lip. And I know that had to be scary, but there's absolutely nothing the mom can do that's actually fairly prevalent, much more so than I thought. And what I learned from your doctor and your daughter's doctor is that a lot of people think that this is something that happens in other countries, but it's very prevalent in the Houston area. Have you found a support group or anybody else who's going through this who can help walk you through it and just be there along your side, at least in those first few days?
Well, yes, Dr. Grace actually introduced me to a what is it called? It's called a Cliff Palette
Mhm,
site on Facebook.
mhm,
It's like every mom like me, but
mhm.
just mothers with cliff babies that have open palates. And on there they post, what goes on and everything with their children. And so from there I kind of learned, and then with Dr. Greaves helping me and her doctors and everything, how to maintain with her,
Yeah,
special
yeah.
bottles, special feedings, um, just
And
ways to kind of like understand her, even though
yeah.
she can't talk at the moment.
And I'll talk about your doctor more in a little while. It was so amazing meeting him at UT Health. So he works at Memorial Hermann Children's Hospital, and what an incredible man. I mean, I could just feel his soul. It was so interesting to meet him. But I want to go, let's start with some photos, and you can walk us through all the stages. And it's quite a few, and maybe more than people realize. So this is your precious girl.
Yes.
Now,
That's my daughter.
and what your doctor was explaining to me is the tape on the face really helps a lot make this surgery a success. So they've learned if they can pull the lip together and then help the nose, it makes a world of difference. Tell me about that and what it was like putting the tape on all the time.
um I cried. I cried so bad because I felt like I was hurting her. But in when he explained to me, that it's gonna help her in the long run. It's gonna help her when she goes to surgery in
Mhm.
April. That it pull her lip together. He's like, you don't want to like how do you say it? Like you want to use the utensil to like
Mhm.
help her more.
Mhm.
So I had to understand that, and even though he said it doesn't hurt her, I felt like it did, but
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, and I understand she was eating fine, just acting like nothing was even going on. There were special bottles they're able to use to make sure she gets the nutrition she needs, which is
Yeah.
huge. And then what was interesting is that when a baby has cleft lip and cleft palate, they'll do the surgery separate. So he told me cleft lip is around 3 or 4 months, and then the cleft palate's the bigger surgery, and that is around a year. So that's exactly what you went through. So how was it to go through those surgeries? I know it had to be scary to send your baby away in the operating room, yet so hopeful of the outcome, right?
Right. Um, that one was the scariest. Was actually having to let her go.
Mhm.
I cried at that moment too. And he was like, he's like, you have to understand. He's like, trust me. And I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
I'm trusting you, Dr. Graves. I really am.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge. And just to have he's such a calming soul. I think I have some pictures of him, so we'll get to that in just a second. Yeah, here we go. So here he is with her after is this after all the surgeries?
This was before the surgery. She
Okay, so
was
this is
like,
after the lip and before the palate, right?
yes,
And this is your Dr. Greaves, and he's just such a kind soul, and you could see that, you know, she knows him immediately. I felt like she
yeah,
knew who's been helping her, right?
yes,
And he was telling me I loved the process of how they pull this off. So he came as soon as she was born with a team, and they show you, okay, here's the special bottles, here's the tape, here's how you do it. You have a support team. We're going to get through this together. How much did it mean to you that he was able to do that for you?
it meant a lot. Like, um, I owe him so much
Mhm.
for him to like actually be there and to help me with her, you know, and
Mhm.
understand, you know, like when nobody else knew what was going on and everything. I mean, doctors
Yeah.
knew that she was born with a cleft lip, but they didn't know how to like help me understand or how
Mhm.
to help her feed or
Mhm.
anything till he came in and he explained to
Mhm.
me, you know, he's like, you're gonna need this bottle and you need this kind of nipple, and it was amazing. Like for him, like I cried.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
sensitive.
Well, and the fact that they are so specialized at Children's Memorial Hermann, I think I said it backwards earlier because I was just going to say Memorial Hermann, but I'm thinking, wait a second, it's the children's portion of it at Children's Memorial Hermann, that they have it down to help comfort the whole family, right? Not just the child. And we see here the little mitten. So did this help her from putting her hands on the tape and for pulling it off? Was that ever an
Yeah.
issue of her being
Um.
interested in saying, what is this on me? I mean, she was really young.
Yeah. Well, it was cold during that time
Mhm.
because
Oh,
remember she was
okay.
born in December.
Uh-huh.
So her little mittens kept her from scratching her face or
Yeah.
putting her fingers in her mouth.
Mhm, and people yeah, I think any parents used to that. I used to put them on my boys because they would always scratch themselves, and look at this. Oh, it's such a sweet, precious baby, and then, "Let's bring in your honey. There's your hubby," and super supportive. I loved meeting him and seeing how he's just such you know, she's a daddy's girl for sure, right?
Yes. Every time he comes home, she
Uh
cries and screams for him.
Oh, and I know that was a trying time before the surgery, but how amazing to have and get on the other side of it. Can you introduce us and show us her? We would love to see.
This is
There she is. Hi, precious.
say
Hi. Now you waved at me when we were at the hospital. Can I get your little hands to say hi?
hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Emily.
Angelina. Hi.
I know you have it in you. There's that smile. You remember me? We became friends, right? We did. There you go. I knew you could do it. Hi. Oh, hi. Oh, she is so precious. What a blessing. One thing I love that Dr. Greaves told me, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it, Angelina, is he said so many parents are really anxious to get the surgery when their child is born. But by the time they get to 3 or 4 months, they're so used to the baby, the way their baby is, they don't want to
Yeah.
lose that smile. It's almost hard for them. It's bittersweet. They say, this is my baby. This is who they are. It's almost hard to go and change them. I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride, right?
Yes. That one was a really roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, so the things that we were talking about is called cleft. How incredible was that? Could you see the fact that you strap that on, it helps pull the lip together? Could you tell that her lip was starting to close before surgery ever even took place?
Yes, you could.
Mhm,
During like at first it was like a really big gap,
mhm.
but as we used it more and more, her lip became closer and closer. So when it became closer and closer inside of her mouth, it was also helping her palate. So her palate was closing in more, which was actually pretty good
Yeah,
going for her palate surgery as well.
right. So it just makes sure that you have tons of success. Well, I know that anytime you're going through something like this, it's just trying, right? Life is busy anyway, but when you have things that are taking you to the hospital and you're spending extra time there, one saying my dad always told me, and I have a cup that proves it or says it to remind me, faith can move mountains. I believe that so much. Talk about how your faith and how prayer got you through those hard times when you have to send your baby off to the operating room.
Um, that when I prayed a lot for my daughter when we went through surgery and everything. And I asked God, to keep her safe, for her to come out with a healthy recovery, for her, to live, like survive her surgery and everything. I just wanted her back. I honestly, I wanted to hold my daughter, and for them to like take her back in
Yeah,
there, for her surgery and everything. It
sure.
hurt.
And that had to be the best feeling to get her back in your arms.
It did. It
What
very
was
did.
recovery like? Did you have to stay in the hospital for a few days after each surgery, or was she able to get right back
Um,
home? I know she ate crazy, like, quickly afterwards. I couldn't believe how fast.
yeah, she ate the day after both surgeries, actually.
Unbelievable when you think about that much work being done in your mouth, and what a fighter and a survivor, right?
Yes, she's very strong.
The first time I met you, you were telling me about how she is your miracle baby. How did
Mhm.
she get that nickname?
Um, Me and my husband have been trying for 8 years, 7 years to
Mhm,
get pregnant, and I couldn't conceive. I didn't understand. Like I
mhm.
was like, something's wrong with me or something, and we tried and tried, and nothing happened. Then I finally like just I gave out. I was just like, I'd rather consider adoption and everything.
Mhm.
And we were gonna do that, and he's like, well, let's try one more time. He's like, so I was like, okay, tried, and I found out I was pregnant. I found out usually mothers find out like when they're like 3 months, 4 months. I found out when I was 3 weeks and 4 days pregnant. So it was actually pretty early.
Yeah.
And when a lot of people ask me, they're like, "That's pretty early," and I was like, "Well, yeah, I was trying.
Yeah. You were trying to check it a lot, probably. You were ready
I
to
was
get the
checking a
positive
lot."
results. And
So
then she survives her 2 surgeries and just pulls through them with flying colors. That had to be an amazing feeling, so she truly is your miracle baby. What
she
would
is.
you I think it's important to raise awareness about this because it is fairly prevalent, more so than people think. What is your suggestion for anybody in the future who gets this diagnosis and who has to go through this? What would be your best advice for them?
To not give up, to
Mhm,
know that there is faith and there is potential with your children.
mhm,
Um, they're very very smart and unique. And they learn pretty fast.
mhm. And then what about, Cleft Smiles 5K? That's coming up. How fun is that? And that'll make a big difference for a lot of families because of the money it raises.
Yeah, that one. That's when a lot. I've seen that too as well. A lot of mothers come out and with cliff children and everything, and just to know that nobody, their children are not alone in this world. There's more out there, more out there to know. So I
Just
think that would
listening
be
to her
the best
sweet voice there, oh my goodness, I love it so much. I was just looking up some information to make sure we had it, so if anybody wants to help join, so it's that race I mentioned is coming up at 8:30 on April 1st. The Club Smiles 5K is it's a timed family fun event, so anybody's welcome to come out. You don't have to be a major runner, you could probably walk it. They'll have all kinds of prizes, though, but what's great about this is a lot of times people can't afford some of this treatment, especially for the different devices on the face that we were talking about, because often insurance doesn't cover that, or if somebody doesn't have insurance, they could be in trouble. And so this will actually help pay for that for local families in the Houston area. So I hope that if you can get out there and help enjoy. Hopefully we'll get some good weather by April to um, can we see her eat? Can you show us again? I want to see how this little one's doing. She's so precious.
Look, I'm gonna show you.
It is. Yum. That looks good. Mom, can you feed me a little faster, please? Oh, yes. Thank you.
She's just
Hello.
waiting for
That's
it.
funny, huh? She wants to be part of the conversation. Hello again.
You saying hi? Say hi.
What do you think her first big word's going to be? Is it going to be mom?
Oh yes, that one has already
Has
shocked the
she
rocket.
has she been able to do that? Or you're
Yes, she
trying?
says mama, mommy.
Oh.
She says hi, hola, pa, like papa,
Uh-huh.
food. I think that's it for right now.
Oh,
No,
that's
no
good.
is
You're
no.
lucky. My boys both said dada the first time, even though the only word I was trying to teach them was mama. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that is so fun. What a sweetheart. Well, we are so happy for you. We are so glad things are going really well. And we wish you absolutely nothing but the best. So thanks for joining me on Lunch for the Soul and just sharing your precious daughter with us. She is amazing, and we love
Take
your
care.
baby. All right, take care.
You too.
All right, bye-bye. And I want to encourage you to join us every Wednesday right here for Lunch for the Soul, 12:30. It's the place to be. You can always find these segments on our Fox 26 YouTube page. So if you happen to miss part of this one, you can go back and watch it in its entirety, or many of the other ones, just uplifting segments most of the time about someone who's gone through something very, very difficult medical wise, but then they come out on a positive side. We have incredible medical care here in the Houston area, in the Texas Medical Center, especially, where they're able to reverse things that sometimes seem like it would be impossible. And then people usually thrive on the other side of it all. If you have any ideas, you can always reach out to me. I'd love to share your story. Otherwise, I'll see you next Wednesday, same place, same time. Have a beautiful day.